Hello and good time zone, everyone. Welcome to Horde of Tales and to Six Moons Saga. My name is Marcus, pronouns are he, him, and I have the honor of running this group again this week for our penultimate session of this story. Who are these adventurers? Who are their characters? Well, let me give you a chance to introduce them. Let's start in the bottom right of our overlay today with Nev. Hello, Nev.
Hello. Hi, everybody. I'm Nev, your friendly neighborhood squid person. My pronouns are she, they, and today I will be playing Sable, an eldritch abomination named a Corpheon, locked in a human-ish body. Totally fine. It's totally fine, y'all.
Everything is dandy when you're an eldritch abomination in a human-ish body. Moving over to Nikki. Hello there.
Hello there, I'm Nick, he, they, and I am playing Lian, they, them, who is a two-in-one entity consisting of a human named Yao and a fox named Yuan.
Fantastic. Going up around the table, Angela.
Hello there, lovelies. My name is Anton Lemos Mogravejo. I use she, her pronouns, and I will be playing Genevieve, Vivi, almost, who is our arcane inventor, who is going to be having a time realizing what she might have to do soon because everything is terrible, and she's very gay and not ready to handle all of it. So that's the whole of her character. She's very gay and not ready to handle all of it.
And on top of that, also handling some kind of world-shaking events that are going on. It's a lot. Glad to have all of you back here. As I mentioned earlier, this is going to be our second to last session of this story. And I'm curious to see where we will take this. But before we continue our story here today, let's do a brief little recap of what happened last time in our latest save of Six Moons Saga. When we continued our game last time, the party was resolving some tension between the duo of Leon and Sable about the origins of Sable and a strange mysterious voice that had also popped into their mind, revealing visions of some ancient foe and also a symbol of an old house of the moon of Bloom, where Enluara is from. It seems that whatever kind of ancient beings these Eidolons and Corpheons were, they were in a great struggle with each other. And someone seems to be trying to maybe reignite this struggle? Answers might await our party on the mystical space airship known as the Sojourner, which has appeared over the town of Forkbridge. With the aid of the chief inventor Darius and the flying gliders and rocket propellant systems, the party was able to launch themselves up aboard the Sojourner, where they started their investigation of the place, coming across not many other people, but at least one friendly looking kind of guinea pig-like humanoid known as Basil, who knew that most of the other people who live on the Sojourner were teleported away, hopefully to some safe place, and that there's a white-clothed person that moved deeper into the ship. The party went downstairs, investigated parts of the place, memories coming into Sable's mind that they seem to recognize this place, recognize the layout. And as the party was investigating the rooms, they concluded that if they want more information, if they want to go to the actual heart of this problem, they might want to go deeper into the ship. A place where they might have a chance to read this data cartridge about the ancient house of Azalis that Enluara bought out of Fury, and where they maybe can change the course of the Sojourner, because going by the angle it's at, it is heading towards the skies of the cosmos and slowly leaving behind Thea. So, party members, you are making your way further down into the belly of the ship. If I'm not mistaken, you are looking for kind of like the command center or the control room of the ship, or is there anything else specific that you're trying to find your way to?
I think we were heading to the control room, yeah.
Yeah, to try to stop the sojourner, I think.
Right? You navigate your way back to one of the other elevators, Sable being able to lead you based on their apparent knowledge of the layout of this place. The walls here seem to be carved out of crystal, a light shine to them, and the air in here is also very fresh and even comfortably cool. The elevator you take down makes a soft humming sound as you get this sensation of this very brief moment of this feeling as if you're losing gravity as the elevator goes down and then comes to a stop. And as the circular door of the elevator opens, you see before you another floor carved out of these blue crystals, but also damaged walls. Parts of these walls have cracks in them, as if large objects were flung against them. Parts of the crystal lie strewn over the floor. And the air here has a scent of ozone to it, as if a thunderstorm is coming or passed through the area. What you also notice as you stand in the open elevator is that in this dimly lit hallway, you briefly see shades, translucent figures that flicker into existence as if they're just casually walking over the hallway. Groups of people in conversation with each other, some of them waving at each other. And then these shades, these translucent images, flicker out of existence again, coming back later and then disappearing again.
Performing the same motions?
Yes, it's as if they're in a loop where they go through the same motions of some of them. There's this one person, for example, at an intersection at the hallway who's just appears, waves widely, disappears, and then appears again to do the same waving motion again.
Are
we would
these- Are these holograms like the ones upstairs or something else?
At first, you would think that these are holograms, but what distinguishes them from the one upstairs is that these don't have any kind of projectors where they could come from. Upstairs, it was like that these holograms appeared on what looked like these alcoves that had basically projectors in them. These appear just in the middle of the hallway.
I mean, they're translucent. I step into the room.
All
with
right.
my spear out, and I'll go near one, and then sort of like with my spear just like, does it go through them?
As you go near one of them, you move your spear, and the rest of the party, you see Leon, both Yuan and Yao, disappear.
No.
Flickering out of existence, just like those ghostly images.
Oh.
Leon, in your perception, so it was then Yao that thrust with the spear.
Yeah. Not thrust, just swipe a little.
Swipe a little. In your experience, the spear goes through the figure. And behind you, you hear a voice saying, "What are you doing out here in the hallway? Aren't you on clean-up schedule?"
I
You
turn around.
your party is gone, but there's this elderly gentleman standing there he has this long Gandalf-like beard and these beautiful, almost like silver, like flowing silver robes. And however, is also like holding in one hand what looks like a scroll and smacking it in the other hand in a kind of like intimidating gesture. And he looks at you. Yes, I'm pretty sure you're on cleanup schedule today. And there's still some of the damages from our latest journey that needs to be restored. Could you get to that, to that, to that, to that? And that image, that person keeps stuck on that sentence. And then there's this flickering sensation as if there's some static on a TV screen. And the person disappears. You see your party again, and the rest of the party, you see Yuan and Yao appearing in front of you again.
Yeah, Yao will just look around, confused for a second, then sort of like lowers the spear, and then Yuan will turn to the others and goes, "Do not touch the spectral images."
The first rule of a new place, Leon, don't touch something you don't know what it does.
Now we do, and we have learned more than we did earlier. We proceed, Sable. Which way to the command room?
That way?
And you point in the correct direction. But as you start wandering the hallways, you do see all over this place more of these ghosts, basically. Some of them stand at walls where you see damages to the crystal that the walls are made of. And you notice that beyond these crystal walls, there is this, what looks like machinery hidden behind it, tubes and cables and the likes. And at one of these places where there's this big hole in the wall revealing all the infrastructure, you see that there's this image of a group of what looks like engineers who stand there and are just looking at the damage and apparently are in a conversation with each other on how to fix this damage. And they just keep repeating the same conversation with each other. As you further follow Sable further through these hallways, the light goes dimmer and dimmer. Gets harder to see just with your eyes. Probably the party has some kind of light source with them that they might be able. Maybe Vivi, you have some kind of fancy tool that you could use for that, or any other kind of light
torch.
A fancy tool, as mentioned.
I'm pretty sure Sable doesn't need light to see, but for everyone else.
Sable does indeed not have any trouble at all on the visual side of things here.
I'm sorry we didn't let you indulge in the fantasy genre for that moment, Marcus. But it was like, just pull out a torch or something.
and Sable just goes, "I have dark vision." So you wander these hallways as you ignite a torch, and Sable still being able to see in the dark and guiding the way. Could I get from all of you an insight plus insight check, please?
Oh boy.
This is to see if some of you perceive something.
Oh, wow. Okay, 7.
I also got a total of 7.
Total of 7.
I'm currently very sad that Roll20 changed the auto thing. It was insight plus insight, you said, correct?
Right.
So let me just roll that real quick.
If necessary, I can do entropy shenanigans and replace one of my numbers with a 7.
Lucky 7. Angela's working on the numbers. She's really leaning into that. Thinking about what is there to perceive.
Leaning into the numbers in this scenario means apparently of all the dice, of the multiple dice in my box, there are 4 different D100s, but no D10s, which I find fascinating. So I'm going
Played a
to
lot of
use
Cthulhu lately?
No, remarkably no. So I'm going to use my fancy gem dice for this.
Ooh, fitting.
3.
Oh, it just rolled something.
No, that was me rolling for Enluara.
Oh,
Those are unfortunate numbers.
This is to determine what is the specifics that we're looking that this is related to. Is this just simply like
if you're noticing something, basically a perception check, basically.
Yeah, that's only a 7 for me in that case.
Oh wow! So we have 7, 7, 7,
And
5.
7.
Yeah.
Do we want me to use my lucky 7 to spot whatever this is?
I mean, if you want this to turn into an 11 for me, you can replace my 3. Oh no, wait, shit, it's for you. Damn it.
It's for me. I can turn mine into a 13 instead of a 7.
Jeez, that's a big difference.
That's your call. Look, I'm okay with terrible things happening to us. I'm just gonna state that for the record because it's the penultimate episode, and Marcus is he has the look of someone mischievous.
Fair enough. We'll leave it as it is then.
Let's go.
The insinuations that are being flung at me here. Very well then.
Accurate readings.
Very well.
I'm too busy leading everyone else, and everyone else can't see beyond the torchlight. That's the excuse, and we're sticking with it.
That makes total sense. And also, it's also pretty distracting to have basically ghosts all around you, which you want to be careful about, be maybe a little bit wary. So yeah, all of you keep wandering these halls, and as you turn around a corner, Sable would probably be the first one to see this as they're leading the group. You go around the corner, which is this corner section where there's just this massive part of the wall cut out by something. Almost looks as if something with a laser has just carved out parts of the corner. The crystal is completely perfectly shaved off, and whatever kind of tubing and cables were behind that crystal are completely gone. Their remains just scattered out on the floor before you. And as you turn the corner, still also looking at the ghostly apparitions, you see right in front of you this almost 3-meter tall robotic figure with a massive bulky frame and a way too small head for the rest of its frame, and the head is basically just one big crystal that ignites, and all along the center line, like over what would be the breasts of this humanoid robotic figure down to its belly, 5 more circles ignite. And then next to those, there are these 6 wings that glow up next to the 5 circles. And this gigantic robotic figure looks down at Sable, and as if speaking through an ancient gramophone, comes a voice out of it. Intruders detected. Initiating total destruction protocol. And this robotic figure is standing there blocking the hallway. And at first you think it's just one, but then you see over its shoulder, leaning to look over its shoulder, you see a fully identical second robot that just says in a similar voice, confirming total destruction protocol. And
do I know what these are?
Well, Sable, you look up at it because I'm imagining these robots are 3 meters tall. Sable is like 1.60 meters or something, or
Shorter than that. They're very, very small. Yes.
yeah. So looking up, you can give me. Could you give me an insight plus willpower for that? As these robots, and at this point, as Sable is thinking, the rest of the party definitely heard these robots saying something about total destruction protocol, and are definitely also seeing 2 huge robots standing there.
That is a 7 and a 7.
That's a crit. So that's a 14, and you can get an opportunity with that.
Ooh.
Because you crit.
How do I? What are
where-
opportunities? Where can I find
Yeah.
those?
They listen to us now.
They are in the PDF. They're on page 41. And you can basically, since you crit it, you can pick one of those. So whatever, you will get information about these from me, but you can also pick one of these opportunities to have something funky happen.
They are actually your bodyguards. We have them as our as our companions now.
I was more like hoping that I knew like the disarming word if I helped build this particular security system, but I don't know. We'll find out in a second. Oh, come on, load the PDF. Thank you.
Like robots, disengage Order 66. Please disengage Order 66.
And just that from these Star Wars battle droids. Roger, Roger. And
No, we unlock a new
Opportunities, here we
form. They
go.
become a droideka, the like little roller ball ones with the 2 sides. It's like, oh no, we made it worse.
for example, yep.
I found them finally.
Okay. For example, last session we had this moment where Angela rolled a crit for Vivi, if I recall correctly, and that's how we got Basil as the companion, because that was from the plot twist.
Oh yeah, wait, is Basil still with us?
Oh yeah, Basil is with you, and he's currently looking at these massive robots and is reconsidering his choices.
Contemplating life choices.
I don't know if doing plot twists to be like, yeah, no, I know how to stop these things feels a bit cheeky. So let's do scan.
The point of a crit, though. A
Scan.
crit is just activate meta narrative change at will.
I mean, if the GM is okay with Sable suddenly remembering the like all clear signal or something, or some way to get these robots to like recognize who Sable is, that's fine. But if not, I'm also fine with that.
You rolled the crit, you picked the opportunity, and if you want to do the plot twist, I'm fine with that.
Well, technically, that's something of your choice suddenly appears.
Someone or something of your choice suddenly appears. Oh yeah, that's true. So it's not like that
information, maybe.
Information. All right. So basically, you did roll a 14, which is a really good roll. And your question was, do I know anything about these machines? Yes, you absolutely do. You recognize these as Magitech golems that are very similar in a design that feels very familiar to you. You again have this strange sensation where one part of your brain feels as, oh yes, I totally recognize these. And the other part thinks, how do I recognize these? This confusion of where does this information come from? And you understand that these machines were built as guardians of this ship, guardians of important locations, and that they do have a wide array of abilities to subdue threats. Many of them non-lethal. They have, as far as you can recall, built-in, for example, like built-in nets that they could fire to subdue threats, but also an array of weaponry. And you do know that they have an elemental attunement shield system, which basically allows them, if these kind of golems take damage from a specific damage type, they attune to that damage type and they become temporarily immune to it. And even better, they can communicate that knowledge to other golems in the area, so those can also become immune to it. What you don't recall, and what is new to you as well, Sable, is this 5 circles, 6-winged symbol on them. You remember that from the vision that you saw and shared with the party, but in your memories that are slowly resurfacing, that symbol was not on these Magitech golems.
Okay. Would I know the best way for us to deal with them? Is the best way to like try and sneak past, or how can we disable them real quickly?
You would know that there's ways of disabling them, but these are not quick ways. And at this point, they have already spotted you and have identified you as a threat.
Is there a way that we can have them not identify us as a threat?
You do know that if they register you as a person of authority, as someone who would be given permission to give them orders, they would stand down. Now, maybe somewhere in the memory of these machines, maybe they could still recognize you as such a person of authority. But that would require trying to maybe ask them to stand down, or persuading them, basically.
Okay. I mean, I say Sable's not good at that, but their willpower and insight are really high, so... Also, sorry, I need to step away for just a couple minutes. So,
Let's just... exactly.
Sable will share all of this information in like a flash in your brains without saying anything out loud, so you know all of this information.
Okay. My immediate... Angela's thoughts and Vivi's thoughts are very much at conflict with one another, because Angela's thoughts are, well, you know, let Sable shine, like, do their thing. Vivi's thoughts are, okay, so one of these I could potentially take. Both of them is a very different story.
Would Vivi maybe want to get a little bit closer to take a look at them? Because
I'm inclined to say yes. Yeah, I'll go with yes. This is a Vivi moves closer, because I think this is a rare occasion where it's like, okay, these are dangerous, but also these are very cool. And she is still an inventor at heart. This is still central to who she is.
Exactly. You move closer to them. Like, Sable is still standing in front of them, and these 2 tall machines are towering over them, this insignia glowing, the red lights on their heads glowing, and the one in front raises its left arm, which was once a hand, but then all these parts unfold, and it just becomes this kind of cannon that is directed into your direction. And you come closer to it, and as someone who grew up with these kind of with artifice and with technological wonders, these machines surpass what you've seen. The plating on them is perfectly done. Whatever kind of small bits of cables that you see exposed, expert cable management. There is all of this artifice is awe-inspiring about them. Is there anything Lian does in the meantime?
I'll say Yao is at the ready with the spear. to retaliate if the robots attack, I'll say Yuan from behind Yao is gonna turn briefly to Enluara and says, "Are they part of yours? You meant the symbols are familiar, right? To that thing that you saw, the cartridge."
Yes, they are. This is exactly the symbol, and also what we saw in the vision. Maybe someone of House Visalis was here with them? Did something with them? I mean, they are awfully intimidating, aren't they?
Yes, they are. I don't suppose you can get them to stand down?
And Luara strides up next to Sable and looks at Sable. And now we basically have this front row of Vivi looking at them from like this technological point of view, Sable having just gathered all that information, recalling memories from them, and Luara just trying to radiate the princess attitude of hers to see if that can make them stand down. What's the plan here?
I would like to try something. I hope it doesn't horribly backfire in our faces, but we'll see. You said it was House Visalis, right? That had the symbols? Sable is going to attempt to go in their very quiet voice, sort of go, this is a princess of House Visalis. Stand down.
Can you give me an insight plus willpower, and you can add a +2 bonus to that?
Okay. That is 13 plus 2, 15.
The Magatek soldier in the front of the two, who had his left arm was transformed from a hand into a cannon, hears that, turns towards Sable, the torso and arm swinging over towards Sable. This cannon just inches away from their face. And the machine leans in closer, that glowing headlight now also illuminating Sable's face. And then you hear it say, processing. Visalis. Bloom. Gavana Visalis. And the robot leans back. The cannon disappears. A hand appearing again. Welcome back. Would you like to continue your research?
Yes. Sable is still still has that sort of focused expression on their face, but they are definitely shaking.
Very well. Please follow. Are the other humanoid entities your assistants?
They're my partners and assistants, yes.
Registering. Entering biometric data. Measuring heart rates and blood pressure. Confirmed. Living creatures. Please follow. Be aware of temporal occurrences. Time and space are folding in and out of each other. Mind your step. Mind your step. And these two robots just walk in front of you, their steps echoing in the hallway.
Sable takes a second to breathe.
Vivi offers a very comforting, like, shoulder pat. But if Sable happens to look at Vivi's face, there's just nothing but pure blush, and she's just mouthing the word partner a little bit.
Oh, I'm so glad that worked.
Me too, because I think figuring out how to turn these things off would take me a minute.
Let's just follow them. I guess we're supposed to do that now.
Okay.
I don't
And
suppose
where
you
do
know
you-
what research. Oh,
Go ahead.
I don't suppose you know what research they mentioned, do you?
You have no
Nope.
clue.
I am not. Let's not say that out loud. And Laura, do you know who Gavana Visalis is?
Well, I have contacted my mentor, Marla, up on the moon to further research the House Visalis. We do know that they vanished, and briefly, members of them were just seen shortly about 10 years ago. That doesn't that kind of line up with the events of the sixth moon that destroyed about 10 years ago? But if the symbol is here as well, and this Gavanta, whatever it said, maybe there's more information here as well. And at least these machines know who they're supposed to listen to. Unlike the ones
Yes.
created by my sister.
Yeah. Okay. Let's keep moving and follow them.
While we're following them, any chance I could try and just, from a bit of a distance, still inspect their particular magitech circuitry and such, to just, in the event something goes south, that I need to invoke inventor bullshittery, how shall we put it?
Is there any way I can assist with that?
Well, Vivi could definitely, while you're following these robots, kind of really take a good look at their composition, their build, and everything. I'm actually
assume
wondering.
that would come down to an inspect roll.
Yes, that would definitely be inspecting them, but I am wondering, how does helping someone work with roles here?
Yeah, I think that's something that the system hasn't really accounted for.
Like, there
as
are
much. I think
group-
it's one of the few things.
Oh, well, there are group checks. So
That's true.
So people can a supporting character.
Wait, yeah, you are right. I think because if it's just a two-person group check, you can just probably have it be I will be the lead for it.
Exactly.
And if Sable, whether their knowledge or whatever their role is, gets to a DCU set, it'll add +1 to my roll.
Exactly.
I think is the general
And
format for it.
Exactly. How would Sable try to help in this?
By sharing whatever memories they have of them being built.
All right.
I'm assuming they didn't build them, but they probably saw at least part of them, the construction.
All right. All right. Before Vivi does the inspect roll, then, Sable, can you give me a willpower plus willpower roll for that?
That is a 12.
12. That is enough so that Vivi can get a +1 on this inspect check, which I think is insight plus insight.
It is. That's half of the reason that I asked about it. Because it's my best. Which that is unfortunately only a 9.
+1 is 10.
Plus the 1, with the +1. I am going to invoke a Fabula point here because I think this is a precaution I would like to ensure we have taken because
This is a
Right.
double though.
yeah, but I think it's only for
6
it is
and
a
higher.
double rule, but it's 6 and higher.
Oh,
Yeah, I was
6 and
pretty
higher,
certain
okay.
it's
Yeah.
6 and higher. Otherwise, that would be happening on low rolls a lot more, and that
That
gets
is-
really broken very
That is
fast.
true.
So I am going to re-roll one of those, even though the exact same result, and I will
Mhm.
spend a Fabula point because this is the time to be using those.
First
So let's see
Fabula
if this
point of the
gets any
session.
better. It is exactly 1 higher, so that is a 10 total with Sables.
That's a tone. Sable, you do indeed have not memories of how these were made. You don't know how to exactly construct it, but you do know that from what you remember, these machines were built in these factories, assembly line productions, starting with the very core of the machine, which resides in its chest. And as you regale this towards Vivi, she looks at these machines, and it's hard to tell because they're moving, you're walking behind them, and you don't have a chance to really get up close to them. But you, Vivi, could at least make out that their core functioning systems are in their chest area. Maybe there's some kind of magical engine in there or something similar. And you would definitely first have to remove some of the plating. And you do know that as you walk behind one of them, there is between what would be the shoulder blades, looks to be like this kind of maintenance hatch that maybe with a good jerk you could pull open. But it would mean you would have to get on the back of these machines. But at least that's the information that you can get while you're following them, and they lead you into a chamber at the end of the hallway.
The favorite thing of the ranged player, to be told that they need to do something in melee or else it's not gonna work. Thank you, Marcus. I'm good with that roll. That's good information. Thank you.
And who knows, you might not, maybe they remain as friendly as they are now, as they usher you into looks kind of like an octagonal chamber. There's 8 corners to the room. And also this room is heavily damaged. There's cabling and tubes dangling from the ceiling. There is parts of the crystal walls are smashed. And in this room, you just see at the center of what was probably at some point a table, now at this 45-degree angle, half collapsed, you see still standing next to it is another ghostly image that is just standing still and flickering in and out of existence. It is a tall person that is dressed in, from what you can make out of this image, functional clothing, but still expensive looking clothing. It's very functional pants and shirts, tool belts and the likes. But from what you can tell in this ghostly image, the fabrics, they flow nicely, they look expensive. And this person just standing next to the table, and not too far away from this broken table is some kind of console, a kind of dashboard with panels and screens, buttons, and also what looks like some kind of open slot something could be inserted into. The 2 robots move to opposite side of the room, look at the ghostly image, and one of them says, "We have arrived at the laboratory. Continue research." And they just kind of power down, the lights going out, and they just stand there passively.
Okay. Seem to be shut down. And Luara, if you let me see. Cartridge.
Hands over the cartridge.
takes a look at the panel, and I start working on just inserting it and seeing if there's anything that can be obtained or retrieved from it in terms of information or just anything.
You put the cartridge in, and at first, of course, yes, we need to make sure that it's dust-free. You blow the cartridge and then put it in. And at first, it feels like you can't fully put it in, but as you push a bit, it goes into the slot, and you hear this sound. Gears moving, a ticking sound, the buzz of electricity, and again, this smell of ozone in the air, which then wafts out of the room and is just replaced with this fresh, crisp air. And you feel the slight tingle of aura on your skin, the sensation of magic happening around you. The screens on the console flicker to life. There's like these static lines on them. There's a bit of static sound coming from them as well, but they've come on. There's a bit of a creaking in the crystal walls. There's probably tubes and cables that haven't been used in ages, have energy flowing through them again. And then on one part of the console, there's this little circular projector. And appearing on it is a projection, a hologram of the same person that you've seen the ghost of in this room, standing next to the person. But this hologram speaks in a gentle voice. First clearing their throat. Gavanta Visalis, research log number 32. This one is recording, right? Yes, it's recording. I have decided to continue my research independently of the Thule project, having confirmed my concerns that the researchers involved with it are not fully aware of the entire scope of the project, fooling themselves with the idea that simply creating a sixth moon is going to go unanswered by the powers that be. I have tried to convince some of them to stop their folly, but as we can all see if we look up into the sky, that came too late. However, I'm convinced I can still make sure it's not getting worse. I will be keeping my information in this recording. And for a moment, there's this static, this flickering, as if parts of the recording are damaged, or maybe the cartridge is fast forwarding. But a moment later, you see this Gavanta Visalis, they appear again. And you see them standing there. Research log 543. I have done extensive readings of wellspring fluctuations on Thea, and my concerns are correct. There is movement within the eidolons imprisoned in the wellsprings. And since the destruction of Thule, these movements have become more intense. I am also convinced that either I am starting to see things, or there are people who have decided to also come with me on the Sojourner and are trying to secretly kill me. I've had to rewire some of the Magitech soldiers who were still here in the depth of the Sojourner. And while at it, I had to, of course, give them the crest of my family. They look a lot better with that on it. And I think every inventor has to give a personal touch to their creations. Anyhow, there are still more energies coming from the remains of the Thule moon. And if my readings are correct, it's just going to be a matter of years before the first wellspring is going to break. And one of the eidolons being unleashed. The recording cuts off there, and there's again flickering and static. Just to make sure all of you can hear and see this, like it's just completely projected in the room as it goes to a next phase, next recording. And we see that this Gavanta Visalis, they're looking a bit more disheveled in this one, exhausted. And they open the recording with just both of their hands at their head. Research recording 702? 3? Let's go with 3. All right, so the Sojourner is the failsafe. It's what the Corpheons left here in case the Eidolons would return, because the Corpheons could not. But why could the Corpheons not return? If they were powerful enough to trap the Eidolons, why could the Corpheons not come back? I need to look into that. It also seems that they left something called the Twin Judge Protocol. I've tried to query the databases down here in the Sojourner, but there's this annoying temporal distortion in everything. Things happen out of sync here. What should happen to me tomorrow happens to me yesterday. If you get what I mean. I'm not even know who I'm talking to. I'm talking to myself at this point, aren't I? Yes, no matter. This Twin Judge Protocol, it seems that the Corpheons left these guardian spirits who will be awoken in case the Eidolons are returning. And they should be part of making sure that the Sojourner can bring people to safety or even fight off the Eidolons. But why can't the Corpheons not come back? Trying to find more information, going to try to get past the Chronopontorium tomorrow. If tomorrow is something like that here. Ending log. And that's also where a log ends. And
Sorry, could you repeat that last bit?
the Chronopontorium.
Interesting word.
Chronopontorium?
I'm gonna drop it in chat, the spelling in a sec. So it's a Chronopontorium. And as that segment wraps up, for a moment, the image completely vanishes. But the cartridge is still there. Is there anything any of you do in the meantime as this information is given to you?
I'll say that UN is sort of like intelligent enough to sort of draw the Twin Judge Protocol to themselves and to their counterpart, the Wolf Girl duo. And now they're just processing that. And then UN is also sort of like side-eyeing Sable. Like, because they're like Corpheons. So they're like thinking, they're sort of like reevaluating their place in this world, and also in conjunction with Sable's place as well. Like, maybe they're more related than they thought they were, kind of deal. But they're keeping it to themselves. They're still processing.
I think Sable would have been listening very intently, but is also trying to figure out what this where this temporal distortion thing might be coming from, because they have temporal powers, sort of.
I'm imagining Vivi doing that in character.
It is very much in character. The only image I have in my mind that accurately sums up her expression and demeanor right now is the meme image, reaction image of like the little stick man dude in front of a computer just going, yeah, just hands together, just like, That's basically where she's at right now. And she's also wondering, based off the information she's aware of from growing up around these things, based off of anything she can pick up from looking at the console, and based off of any of the designs that we've been seeing from the damage from the cables and such here, if there is a way to at least be in the figure out how to be in the ballpark of what's wrong with this, what's causing these disruptions. She might not know exactly how to fix it, but is she, I guess, a question to our GM, is she capable enough, given what Sable has shared with us or could share with us based off of any other memories they have, looking at the console, looking at what was at the wellspring and just her own past and tinkering and what she's learned along the way, could she make a guess that about what's going on or how to fix it?
One thing that this image of Gavanta Visalis mentioned was that there's these temporal distortions, indeed, as they were trying to access the archives or library of the Sojourner. So you do know, like, Sable would probably maybe know a bit more about the magical side of, like, temporal magic, which is, like, entropism, basically. But Vivi would know that there are ways of using time to basically shield off information. Like, how can you, for example, find a book if you make sure that book is always in your past and never in your future? How can you enter a room if the moment you enter the room, it's no longer there because you moved it from the future into the past? So there are applications of these kind of temporal magics that could protect information, but if that magic is not kept up correctly, it could cause these distortions. It could cause information from the wrong point in time to appear somewhere or being lost at a certain point in time. And if a more powerful application of that can be used, there's hardly anything that isn't possible by just hiding things somewhere else in the timeline or pulling them from the future, the past, or the present to when you need them.
So, might be mildly complicated, but I'm curious. This question based off of that. Okay.
We're talking about timey-wimey stuff. It's gonna be complicated.
Okay, fair. God, I need a time word right now. Anyways, so time is less operating here like a singular, like, river path, and not even necessarily like spider web designs. It's more like elliptical, like planetary motion. There might be core points that could potentially be repeating or keeping everything grounded. Like, this space is the grounding point or fulcrum around which everything is rotating, but their motion can occasionally cause them to, like, overlap, go past one another, or go into different spaces, right?
That's a good way to describe it.
Could Vivi potentially make, again, this is guesswork, but could she potentially evaluate by going back into the hall, looking at some of the time disruptions we've had so far, and make a rough guess based off of rate of change or frequency of when it's happening as to, like, what might be a source point for this? Like, what's closer to, like, this is least removed from, I don't know if they're anchor point in time of, like, this is current. This is so weird. Fucking time stuff is weird. Here's present now. Here is now we would like to get to, instead of then now or past now. Can I find the spot that's the least distance away from now?
That's
based off of predicting. Can I potentially make a prediction or guess the rate of change? Because I'm thinking about this in the way that calculus is, in terms of calculus kind of way of, like, it's meant to measure, like, the rate of change and such of that. Is there a way I could use a model or create a model or guess based off of all of those other little time disruptions and try and find the spot where it's least removed or closest to least disrupted, least amount of time disruption?
Vivi can certainly try that, but it's a very advanced thing to do. As
Math,
you're
people.
it
We're
is
introducing
like
math.
this is
Yeah.
higher math that you would need to go here into that. But Vivi can definitely go and start working on that, trying to pinpoint, like, based on how we moved here and how these ghostly images move. Is there some kind of repetition that I see in that, and can lead us that to the future now that we want to get from the then now via the present now, in a way like that. And so Vivi would start to work on that, and that's going to take a while. This is not something that Vivi can just do.
No, I
from the top of her
assume
head.
that this is the moment where she's like, okay, bear with me here, and she just like goes out into the hallway, and there's like 6. It's just basically making a math proof level of writing to try and go through all of this to see if there's points where of checking like several different spots, because it's
Right.
not just like a couple down the hallway, right? There's like dozens of these happening all across, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So while
Wish me luck.
Vivi goes and tries to formalize time stuff, is there anything anyone else would like to do while that is going on?
Well, I did ask if I could sense or find somehow the origin point for all this time stuff.
Hmm.
I don't. If that's what Vivi's doing right now, then I guess I'll do something else.
You could see
I
maybe,
still need help.
yeah, because
Or
definitely
if you solve it faster, I'll take it. I'll feel sad it took me 8 pages of work for you to do in like 2 seconds, but it's fine.
because if Sable would help with that, what would that look like? What would Sable try to do to pinpoint that?
Well, they would. I mean, just for clarity, what I would like to do is find the origin point so Sable can use their entropy ritualism to sort of stabilize it and stop it from flickering everything. The other thing is we haven't actually looked at the control room yet.
Exactly. This is not the control room indeed. This is a lab that you're in. But maybe, like, even if you try to stabilize time here, maybe there is information in the past of the room, or in the or maybe in some other time segment of the room that you could get from it. So that's something that Sable is slowly pondering at this point. Leon, is Yuan and Yao in any way dealing with this temporal topic?
Okay, I will say that this temporal topic just goes way over Lian's head. They're not smart enough. They're not designed for this level of intelligence or research. So they're just gonna focus on the one thing that they sort of know how. So what they understand based on that research log of this person, it says that the twin judge protocol, they are placed there by the Corpheons to stop the Eidolons, right?
Exactly.
So this means that their other half, the wolf and girl pair, are supposed to be on their side, but they are not. They're on the Eidolon side, right, if I remember correctly, based on...
At least it seems like that, yeah.
Okay, so they've never tried this before, but they've done it with Sable, the telepathic thing. So they're going to sort of like seeing, the others doing the temporal stuff. They're just gonna go to their own corner there and sit down facing each other, and they're going to attempt to telepathically link themselves with their other twin pair for communication.
Interesting.
Everyone is pulling out the strats today. We have ritualism in one spot, we have math nerdery in another, and then we have telepathic, ethereal being of nature in another. This is...
Yep. The genres are crossing. Don't cross the streams.
Crossing all of the streams, boy. We're doing everything.
Leon, you indeed, the two of you retreat into a corner and you start sinking into yourself. Thinking again about the encounter with the wolf and the girl. The words that those two told you, that you would have to pick a side, that you would have to choose if you want to help these mortals or leave them to their hubris. You reach out, you have never done this before. But as you sit there and sink into the darkness in yourself, the humming of the machines around you starts fading. And you only hear your own heartbeat in your chest. And at the same time, you're aware of the heartbeat of Yuan and Yao, of both of those heartbeats. And then slowly syncing up to the two heartbeats of you. Two other heartbeats join in. As you find yourself sitting in a dark void with the wolf and the girl just steps away from you. And that wolf, with the eyes of a girl, lies on the dark ground, paws crossed over each other, looking at you and speaking with you. So you have found this string to pull, reaching out, my sibling.
Yes. I have learned, we have learned what we are. We have learned what you are, or what you are supposed to be.
Did they tell you? The children of Thule.
Why have you deviated from your path?
When the folly of men had the eidolons roused from their slumber, we were roused from ours, sent to different ends of the stars. Neither of us were given the knowledge of what we were there for. But I found the knowledge. The children of Thule led me to it. Those who were so arrogant to believe they could create a new moon, that they could disturb the balance in which the Corpheons left our stars. We were left behind by them, sibling, so that the Corpheons, done with their work, could wander the stars and do whatever they want, leaving responsibility and the burden of it on us. And now here we are. These mortals, they meddled with things they did not understand. And we should shepherd them to safety? I don't think so. Nothing in our forms forces us to do what we were created for. I will not aid them.
So you side with the enemy.
Children of Thule, they plan to bring back the Eidolons. and through their rebirth, end them once and for all. I am not sure if they're capable of it, but their leader sure seems competent. And I think it is the better solution than what the Corpheons had come up with, leaving these magical prisons all over a world. Let us be done with them. Let us remove them.
And then what will be left once everything is destroyed? Do you think the Eidolons will spare you?
Do I take you like the entity that cares for myself? We were created for this one function, sibling. What do I have in this existence? The most I can get out of it is see what new possibilities a blank slate brings.
This won't end the way you desire.
It also won't end the way you desire.
Perhaps so, but you are wrong about one thing. Not all of the Corpheons abandoned us. One is here. It is not
And
too late.
the expression on the wolf's face shifts. Eyebrows frown, and the wolf rises from a lying position. So I did smell one. They were already with you in town, were they not?
Yes.
This is what the children of Thule were talking about.
Looks like they can't be trusted.
A smile on the wolf's face, teeth bare, like an entire shop filled with blades. I'll find you, sibling. I'll find you in the Corpheon. And I will make the Corpheon tell me why we were left behind.
This does not have to end in bloodshed. We may not have known you for long, but you are our sibling. We do not wish to spill your blood. If we cannot come to an accord, I will fight back.
I hope you will. And the image of both the wolf and the girl who vanish as the sound of the machinery in the place around you slowly comes back into Leon, and you awake from your meditation.
And with
Add that
that,
to the list. Well done, Nikki. You've added another one to the list of people who want to actively kill us as opposed to passively fuck us over.
I tried.
You did. To be fair, you did. You did actually try.
That is true. That's true. And once again, Nikki had a conversation with the wolf girl combo in a place where the rest of the party could not be. So
we don't know what's going on. I'm being a nerd over here.
Vivi is indeed still doing the math and everything, but Sable, was there any kind of your entropic magic you might want to try in the meantime?
I mean, just as a side note, if Leon wants to share all of that, they can through Sable.
Sure.
But that's up to them.
For now,
in the meantime.
For now, they've gone really silent. They are processing this and also steeling themselves for the inevitable outcome of them having to kill their own sibling. So they are just there right now. They haven't decided whether they're gonna reveal things yet.
If you create another scenario where your character dies in the finale, I'm gonna be so mad. I swear to God.
We shall see.
Yeah, I would still like to either help Vivi or find the origin point of where all the temporal distortion is coming from.
This is like you said, no, this is a really good that's a really good call to try a ritual, because this is kind of the
Exactly.
perfect time to do it.
Exactly. And by coincidence, Sable has the right kind of magic for the
I
fitting
do.
ritual magic, entropism in this kind. So the interesting thing about rituals in Fabula Ultima, they are basically kind of the quotation marks out of combat magic that allow you to be a bit more creative with the magic that you have for some larger scale effects. And as we're going to make a ritual, we're going to need to know like what the area of the effect is that you want to affect with it. That will influence your base MP costs and the difficulty level for it. And the area of it will modify the MP cost based on the potency of it.
Well,
So,
you have to tell me the area because you know how big the origin point is or whatever.
exactly. I would say you could start out with a large area, which would be a ×3 modifier for the MP. And the potency then is kind of based on how hard do you want to make it and how much MP do you want to spend on it?
I don't know.
Are you trying to you're just trying to find the spot, right?
It says medium is locate something.
That's why.
Yeah.
30 × 2 × 3. I don't have that much.
90. But you can reduce the cost of a ritual if you're able to provide a rare, powerful ingredient, which you have.
Do I?
The earrings. The earrings have the silence crystal in them.
True.
This is perfect. This is getting rid of. This is at least finding an effect. It's a perfect use of it. I'm holding on to that fucking thing to find a use for this entire series. This is a perfect use for that.
Okay.
That would cut. It would go from 90 to 45, which would eat through a lot of your MP.
Most of my MP. Yeah.
I can bring you back up though.
Okay, if we're all on board with that, then I will do that.
It's a cool ass thing with rituals. You've been wanting to do rituals. I want to support you in doing a cool ass thing. This is my goal as a player. Make Nev do a cool thing, or help Nev do a cool thing.
All right. So, if you would like to roll then your insight plus willpower.
Yeah.
And we are looking for a difficulty of 10.
Ooh. 10. As in, I need to roll at least 10?
At least 10, yeah.
Okay.
I think because this is insight and willpower, that should be doable for Sable.
Yeah, that's a 13.
Oh, absolutely.
You haven't rolled below like 12 aside from the one you changed.
That's not true. I rolled 7. The first roll was a 7.
Except for that one. Except for that one.
That series of first rolls kind of was the catalyst for this entire situation. Sable, what does it look like as you work your entropism ritual magic?
Well, first, Sable's gonna go up to Vivi. I want to try something, but I might have to destroy the earrings to make it work.
She reaches both. There's definitely that she has like a pencil. Actually, I can do this. She has a pencil in her mouth, and she's like, listen here. Oh wait, She like takes the pencil out of her mouth. Her hair is like it's out of the braid. She's in full work mode, and she like offers to like hold both of your hands. Do what you need to. I believe in you. No matter what happens, whether it succeeds or not, I believe in you. Okay.
Okay.
So we should have a conversation later about what you meant by saying partner. But right, you're probably already walked away by the time you hear the last part.
No. If you're talking to them, they will stand there and listen.
Like, do you mean partner? Like, okay, wait, this isn't the time to bring this up. Never mind. You know what? She just flashes a whole bunch of thoughts in her head, just that are something to the effect of like, do you know what a partner is in this situation? With what we've discussed? She does not know how to convey this at all intelligibly. There's just a long stream of that.
Sable pulls on Vivi to like pull her down.
Yeah.
Gives her a kiss on the cheek before walking off.
She falls back over and she nearly lands on 3 different pieces of paper and rips them in half by accident. You just hear a scramble of papers, and she's done. She's back to work.
And then Sable will stand near where the ghost is to sort of get a feeling for the temporal energy stuff. They plant their feet squarely and their staff right in front of them on the floor. And like their normal spell casting, you can feel that sort of stomach drop, like deep bass rumbling in your chest start up, but instead of like getting really loud and then subsiding, it just maintains a steady pace as waves of purplish blackish energy start emanating from them, and their eyes turn black. And since what they're trying to do is find the origin point, sparks and streaks of their energy start following the temporal lines in the direction of wherever it is that they're being led to, and they slowly walk that way, following the wisps of dark energy, the thrumming just following them as they continue.
These wisps of energy do guide you slowly out of the room. And you and your companions would also see that where Sable is walking, it seems as if time starts moving backwards. Cracks in the wall are undone. Cabling is pulled back in, connected back together. Wherever Sable walks by some of these apparitions, those apparitions vanish, being put back in their rightful place in time. And all of you know that time itself has no gravity, there's no pull to it, but it almost feels as if Sable is generating some kind of temporal Coriolis effect. Gravity warping around Sable and time warping around Sable as these lines pull towards a direction that Vivi was already working towards with her calculations. Being on the right track, where to head for the source of the origin. But before all of you wander off out of this research lab, maybe it is due to this temporal magic, this ritualistic entropy. But the cartridge the information on the cartridge that you put into the console gives one more projection out of it. Again, Gavanta Visalis appears on the projector, looking simultaneously older and younger in this projection. And they say, there's no way I can warp the temporal logs on the Chronopontorium. I cannot get to the control room. But I've done the calculations. With the temporal magics I learned from here, I have pinpointed a place and time that I can send this information. I have put my research logs on a cartridge, and I shall use the magics I know to put it into the temporal coordinates so that it will come on a place where someone will find this information that will lead them into the right direction. I will send this cartridge back in time, or forward in time. I have to find this. Well, anyway, whoever reads this cartridge, whoever gets this information, the control room is past the Chronopontorium, the bridge of time. And that's where all what the Sojourner is and does is hidden. Whatever happens, the children of Thule, these researchers are not allowed to get there. I have done what I could. I have put protective measurements, but I cannot get to it myself. If you find this cartridge, wherever in time you are, help Thea. Protect us. Gavanta Vizal is out. And the recording ends there. And that's where we're going to take our break for today. Going on a halfway point today. We're going to take some time to recover from this. And we will be back in about 10 minutes. Or maybe we'll be back in the past in 10 minutes. Who knows? Time is a social construct. And we're just going to use that to have our break for now. We'll be back in about 10 minutes. Thank you very much for being here, and see you in a few. Hello and welcome back, everyone, to our second half of Six Moons Saga. Today, in our first half of today's session, the party delved deeper into the Sojourner, an ancient spaceship that seems to be more than it seems. They have viewed recordings of a researcher of House Visalis, of vanished house of nobles from the Moon of Bloom, and they have tried to solve time travel through math and magic, which is, of course, always a winning combination. As we left off before the break, Sable did succeed in trying to use entropy ritual magic to follow traces of time to the origin of this time distortion. And the party heard one last message from Gavanta Visalis about things being locked behind the Chronopontorium, or the Bridge of Time. Something that they could not reach, but they could at least send a cartridge with the information through time into the right hands, the right temporal coordinates. The party has been following Sable as they have before, but now following Sable performing this entropy ritual magic, strands of dark magic leading the way, as it seems as if time is slowly moving backwards around Sable and the party. You seem to be going deeper into the Sojourner, following ramps sloping downwards, hearing voices speaking backwards as if a tape is being rewound. And Sable feels that the gravity of time is pulling them closer and closer to where this distortion is coming from. While Sable is taking care of this ritual magic, is there anything else the party is doing as you're covering more ground?
Hmm. I would say at some point as we're just walking, Yuan will just go, there is something we have to share with you. And then
Alright.
and then they will info dump the truth, everything about what they are, their other pair, and what they have and what that other pair have done that allowed the children of Thule to be able to do what they do, and also the revelation that they might come to us and attempt to murderate Sable.
Do you info dump verbally or use the psychic connection?
Yeah, I think for brevity's sake, we will do psychic.
Okay. You get a headache because they're holding on to a lot of very powerful magic right now, and they don't have the energy to protect you from it. So you both, all three of you, get a massive headache.
Oof.
Oh.
And there's a little flicker in Sable's magic as they almost stumble but catch themselves and continue going.
And I'll just say at the end of that, Yuan will say verbally, but you do not need to worry about them. If they come, we will take care of them.
I think Vivi, after all of that, and in recovering from the headache, both caused by all the calculations she just had to do, and also the psychic backlash, just goes up to. I always forget which one is the wolf cult again?
The fox, Yuan.
Fox. UN. She goes up to UN, like looks you like right between the eyes, right where the like puts her hand right where the snout is,
Mm-hmm.
and just flicks your nose, like directly.
She just sniffs.
This is why I trust them more than you.
She knows, that's fair.
Sable does not have the capacity to verbalize any response right now, but you get a feeling of gratitude and a feeling of we belong together as a group. We're all here.
High School Musical, we're all in this together place.
No. I was glad no one mentioned it. Then you did. God damn it.
I have no choice but to mention. It's in my blood.
You always have a choice. There's always a choice. There's like a choice to not do that.
But yes.
And to bring the tone back down, you can see spidery, like black veins coming out from their eyes across their face as the
Okay.
ritual continues.
Han, let's keep going. We're going to have turns over to you, and we're going to have a much longer conversation about this when we are not actively making sure that that Sable is fine in not maintaining magic.
We look forward to it.
Flicks the nose one more time.
Yeah.
It takes a few more. Well, it takes close to an hour of covering ground here in this ship. Sable masterfully focusing on the magic, following the weight of time. And eventually, you reach the end of the trail summoned from the time stream itself through entropy magic. The hallway you've been wandering through for the past 20 minutes has gotten wider. You can easily have your entire party walk side by side here and still have space left. Probably even these majestic beasts of burden of Yuri's merchant caravan could easily fit in this wide hallway, the ceiling towering over you. Crystals growing downwards like stalactites as you walk in. But as the entropic magic of Sable fills the hallway, the crystals retreat, growing back towards the ceiling. Ahead of you lies, covering most of the space in front of you, a gigantic steel door. On one side of the door, on one side of it, you see beautifully worked into the steel the artwork of a wolf. And on the other side, diagonally above it, beautiful artwork of a fox, as if the two are chasing each other. Centered between the two, on this massive steel door, it's just a depiction of what looks like a dark night sky filled with stars. Multiple massive locks are attached to the door, each of them looking complicated and intricate. But none of these locks have keyholes. As Sable approaches this massive door, still the last remnants of the ritual magic being pushed into it, you can see that some of these locks actually start to wither, as if this time magic is causing them to corrode, as if these locks were meant to be broken by distorting time, and these last remnants of the ritual now going through it. And you also notice, all of you can see this, that some of these locks, or places where there should be locks, no longer have them. Parts of these locks have been removed already. And you do see on the ground in front of the door still a trace of dust and flakes of rust, probably coming from whatever locks have already been corroded here.
Seems we'll have company soon enough. Be on guard.
So I'm glad that you say that, Leon.
No.
Could all of you give me a round of insight plus insight checks, please?
Okay.
One of these days, I will roll high. It is not
Wow.
this day. It is
That
not
is a
this day.
16.
A 16?
A 7 and a 9.
Wow.
I rolled
You
a
said
4.
insight plus insight, right? Just
Yes.
making sure. Okay.
Insight plus
okay.
insight.
Also, I don't know whether it even need to with a fucking 16, but sure. This is just this isn't even our game anymore. This is Sable's game.
I'm
This is
sorry, I
Sable's
can't
world.
help
We're
it.
just in it.
These are my 2 highest dice. I can't help it.
That was Dex plus Dex, but that's still. I don't know why I did that. Dex. Saying Dex, but yeah, that's an 11 for me. It's not as impressive as a 16, but
But an 11 is still good.
I see nothing. I rolled 4.
Sable, as your ritual magic is ending, you notice 2 things. First, you notice that the moment you came close to this door, your very own shadow is shifting again. Same way it did when you were in the wellspring in Forkbridge. It moves almost as if out of its own volition. However, you see that your shadow is reaching out to a different shadow that is moving. Cast over the ground, you see the silhouette a long-limbed shadow with long arms, ending in these clawed hands, is moving over the ground and is trying to stealthily approach your party. But you see that shadow. And you recognize the form of that shadow. It looks very similar to what escaped out of the white-clothed figure that you fought near the wellspring.
Solidness, is it? Okay.
Well, we don't know that.
Well,
but,
yeah,
we don't know.
Did we have time to have Sable get the MP back or no? It's fine if the answer is no.
No, you would have there on the way there. Like, there's definitely a moment where Sable could have gotten the MP back.
Okay.
Evie just casually like, here you go, dear.
As the ritual sort of ends, and the wisps of like whispers and thrumming die down, you see their hair is black. It stays black. And they... Oh, I need to put my MP back. Where's my... There it is. Oh, it's back up to full. Yay. So they like turn really quickly and use their magical staff to smack at the shadow and then shout, "Shadow creature!"
Oh.
And the creature, as you swing your staff there, your now blackened hair, do the spider web lines around your eyes, do those stay as well, or do those vanish?
They linger for a bit and then they slowly retract back.
Gotcha.
But their eyes stay black.
Eyes stay black, the hair is black, and you swing that staff at the shadow creature, and leaping up from the ground, first in this two-dimensional form, is the shadowy silhouette that slowly gets form, and two dark purple eyes glow up in the form. And you hear this voice echoing through the room. "A chance to finish what we started, heroes. You are too late already. Procopius is crossing the bridge, and we shall claim the Sojourner. And I will claim you."
I'm not waiting for a villain monologue. I'm not waiting for a goddamn villain monologue. Vivi is firing
That's
as fast
good,
as I
because
can.
it is time to get some
Motherfucker.
initiative and see what's going on there. So, who of you
This
wants to
monster.
lead the group check for initiative?
Initiative is
Dexterity plus insight.
dexterity plus. Okay.
I hate to say it, but Sable is the one who swung first. But
Yeah.
they're terrible at it, so this isn't going to go well.
It's okay. We commit.
Commit. Everyone commits.
Commit?
Yes.
Commit. I think it's fair. Look, it's penultimate episode. We're embracing the mess. Embrace the mess
Exactly.
you want to see in the world. Just Sable's rolling for us.
I need that on a poster in my office. Embrace the mess you want to see in the world.
But
I
it's
mean, unless we want to start with Vivi, but Sable did swing first, technically.
yeah.
Okay,
no, I
so-
think it makes
so
sense.
Sable would do the leading role, but that means the rest of you first do your support rolls, which means
Does inside dex?
Dex plus insight, indeed.
Okay, I'm changing my dice. Maybe I'll roll higher this time.
I'm suddenly glad I saved my lucky 7.
14.
14? Whoa!
Wow.
All right.
The dice swap worked.
Oh, nice. So that's already 1 + 1 in the pocket.
Hold on. Where is it? It's not that one. It's not that one. It's not that one.
Oh god.
Not that one. Not that one. Where? Yes.
In the world is Carmen Sanjay.
No, I already had a pirate Carmen San Diego in the last campaign I was in. Actually, you can't have too much of pirate Carmen San Diego, so I take that back. I retract my statement. Insight plus Dex. My roll is going to be
14. Wow.
14. So that's another +1 to Sable's roll.
So Sable can add +2 to their Dex plus Insight roll.
I'm rolling 2d6s. Wish me luck.
Let's go.
Wait, Dex plus Insight?
Oh, Dex plus
Dex plus
Insight.
Insight.
Oh,
Dex plus
yeah,
Insight.
okay.
Yeah.
That's why I was like,
That's
this is
better.
still okay for you.
That is a 10 plus 2 is 12.
And that is just one more than the initiative of what you're fighting. So the party seizes the initiative as we have the party on one side of the screen and the shade of Solinus on the other side. This shadowy creature that just, it's mostly just this upper body, 2 purple glowing eyes, long arms ending in dark claws, and then trailing off, there's no legs or anything, just darkness coming off of this creature. As we're going into round 1, who of the characters is going to take the first action?
Question. Do
yes.
we want me to cast divination first before we do anything else?
What does divination do?
I glimpse briefly into the future, appropriate, until this spell ends. After a creature I can see performs a check, if it's not a fumble or a critical success, I may force that creature to re-roll both dice. Once you have forced 2 re-rolls this way, the spell ends.
It depends.
That does mean I'm not doing damage this round, but
I'm okay with the first opening round just being we debuff the shit out of this thing or buff ourselves, because I don't want this person to be dealing the damn magic stuff again. We're gonna make this as hard for them to hurt us as we can, because we know this isn't the only thing we have to deal with. Oh,
so
Lord.
do I do that? Is that a good
I would say if this help us get through this as fast as possible, because this is not the big deal. This is we need to deal with this quickly before worse things happen.
Can I say for flavor that more of the locks corrode as they like siphon some of the time energy off of this portal, and just like there's a blackish, purplish, almost starry night sort of galaxy of energy around them now, hovering as they're casting divination and seeing everyone like 2 minutes into the future, which is a headache, but hey.
10 out of 10. Absolutely great description. Let's go. So this magic, these effects you describe happen, and the divination spell is cast as you perceive the future and hold on to those threats of possibility. That is Sable's turn, which means it is the enemy's turn. And the shade sees Sable pulling the magic, divinating the future, and is just with wild speed dashing towards Sable and is trying to hit them with shadowed, clawed hands. And that's going to be yeah. Well. Oh, that's bad. Does a 9 hit Sable?
Physical or magical?
Physical.
Yes, physical hits.
Physical, it's very easy to hit Sable. Magical, it's a lot harder.
Yeah, that's a total of 11 points of physical damage to Sable as these shadowy claws rend the physical form.
Okay. Ouchie.
And you hear the shade speaking out loud. Yes, reveal yourself. And it ends its turn. Going back to the player characters.
And you want to go first, Vivi?
Yeah. I need to prevent this thing from being able to land hits as quickly as possible. I'm gonna take a ranged attack on this and hope
That hits for reasons.
For reasons.
Very important reasons. Very, very important reasons. Since that should be the correct roll. What is that? I'm going
Oof.
to. Yeah, I'm going to.
Oh.
I have divination, so I see Vivi miss, and I go, nope.
I re-roll.
And some part of that black sort of starry energy goes to Vivi.
Oh.
That's even worse.
Well,
You
That
tried.
is a critical fail.
I am going to spend a Fabula point to prevent that.
Gotcha.
Because I highly doubt, no matter what I roll, unless I get a 10 on this one, which I will try it. I don't expect it will land, but
It's better than a crit fail.
yes, it's better than a crit fail.
So
That
that's a total
was
of
so 4 + 1, so it's only a 5.
5. Yeah.
Okay, so I don't have to. So none of my stuff goes off when I spend it.
You shoot.
When I hit.
You shoot,
Until I
and
hit.
the shade just briefly dematerializes, so none of that hits, even with the influence of time magic. It evades that. I think there's a bit of a double check on Vivi's side, if anything is still going off. If there's any funky Tinkerer stuff happening there.
I'm just double checking how much I can spend on this. Yeah, I'm gonna do it. I'm going to fire once again. I'm going to spend using a sharpshooter ability that I have,
Mm-hmm.
which is barrage. So I will spend 10 mind points. So my weapon, an ethereal arrow, comes out of the secondary slot and is going to fire off.
All right.
I'm okay with it being 3 misses, but I'm just gonna state for the record, it's gonna suck if it's 3 misses. No, that's an 11 to hit.
And that does hit.
Aha.
Okay, because this is hit, now I do my bullshit. I am going to, because I've successfully hit them with a ranged attack, that is not going to do any damage. Instead, I'm going to have them, let's see which one of these is better to do, shaken or slow. They're going to deal with light and willpower. Yeah. I'm going to have them be hit with slow. Their die size for dexterity drops 1. And I'm going to spend 2 inventory points. That ethereal shot, I'm going to pull off of what Sable just gave me. The dark energy isn't able to affect the second shot, but what it does do is it becomes a caustic ethereal substance that hits them. They are now also poisoned, and they take... I don't think because I called the first part saying it does no damage, it gets the extra damage, but they are now also poisoned.
So by being slowed, their dex is down 1 die size.
One die size, and because they're poisoned, their might and willpower also drop a die size. So I have dropped 3 stats die sizes by 1 with 1 hit. This is why I wanted to hit. I need to hit just once to ruin their day.
Their might and willpower.
Might, willpower, and dexterity
dex.
are all dropped 1 because they are poisoned and slowed.
Oh, wow. That is a big hit there. Big one to invest there.
I don't do damage. That's the big cost of it, but they are poisoned and slowed. And they're not losing that anytime soon.
That ethereal arrow just completely unloads in the shade. And the movements slow down. And you can hear like, no, no, no. Angry at being limited in these ways. And it is also angry at the fact that it doesn't have an extra turn in this form. So it's immediately up to Leon and to our duo of Leon. What are you going to do?
Okay, but just out of curiosity, because I was not here for that first fight with Solinus, was he had a physical form in that fight, right?
Yes,
And now he's in a spectral form.
exactly.
So that means there's no way of me knowing whether physical attacks will hurt him or not.
Well, you did. I mean, in this form, you haven't fought him before, but considering that Vivi's arrow, even though the arrow that actually did the hit was an ethereal arrow that was fired, did hit, it's worth a try.
Okay. In that case,
Isn't your spear magical anyway?
No.
No.
Magic is Yuan's deal. Yao is pure physical. So
Fair enough.
I
They
will.
don't want me to buy them a spear. They're like, I don't need to buy anything. I'm like, fine.
Nah, it's fine. I'm committed. I will chuck my spear onto the ground and pull out my claws, and then I'm gonna charge forward and start ravaging it.
Let's go.
Whoa ho! That 16. 16
Yeah.
to hit.
Did you crit on that?
Yes.
No, 9 and 7.
9 and 7, but yeah. That definitely hits.
We're all very pissed off at this being for coming back.
Okay, so that is 15 physical damage.
Yeah, that really, even though this is a shadow, your claws literally tear at this shadow, just shredding out bits of the shade. And the shade actually turns to you and just goes like, I was looking forward to you.
Yao roars in his face. Spittle flying everywhere. Yuan is watching passively from the back.
All right. This wraps up round 1 as we move into round 2. Sable already described that their magic is slowly corroding away some of the locks. And at the start of round 2, one more of these locks just goes, falls to the ground behind you. And a breeze comes from the door. You can actually see dust being pushed up from whatever kind of breeze lies beyond it. And you hear the shade go, Solinus is working fast. We're at the top of round 2. Who of the party is going to act first?
Sable, you want to do your explosion thing?
I don't know if shadow magic will do very much against a shadow
Yeah,
creature.
that's
Is
the
the only
problem.
thing.
That is true.
You do also remember already from your last encounter, even in the physical form, Solinus had resistance.
Yeah.
To this to the dark magic.
Let me see what else I've got.
It's gonna get very cold in here all of a sudden. I don't know why.
It might if I want to just like completely dump all of my MP very quickly. Actually, I'm gonna do something else. He's already got slow.
Slow, poisoned, currently on.
Let's see. Okay, so I'm going to instead. There's too many tabs in this character sheet. I am going to instead spend 5 to attempt to consume part of his psyche with drained spirit.
I love this. I love it.
Okay.
The spells.
So, what do you have to do to see if you succeed in
I
draining?
have to hit. That's
Oh,
it.
okay. That's against the magical defense.
I crit.
Did you crit?
Oh,
A 9 and a 9.
Jesus.
Oh,
This
yes.
person was like, oh, I could sneak up and kill them really easily. By the way. Bonk.
Which means that does indeed. That's going.
Watch me roll all ones for the rest of the session, but it's fine. I crit.
So your spell definitely works, and you get to pick an opportunity on top of that as well.
Where were those again?
Page
41.
41.
Da-da. Checks. Opportunity. Let's see. Okay. I can't think of a good plot twist, so and I think we can gather their motivations generally enough that that's not going to be super useful.
I mean, you can always, there's also the option to afflict yet another condition on them. That's also an option.
I will instead give the next ally advantage. You get a +4.
+4 bonus. Wow, it performed
Whoever
by you
goes
and
next get a +4 bonus to whatever you're
Ooh.
doing.
That's massive. Basically creating an
And
opening.
he loses 15 plus 9, 24 mind points.
24 mind points.
And
which
I
you
recover half of those.
Which you pull from just draining the dark energy out of the shade. Just to be honest, that's almost half of his mind points that you drew out of the shade.
Damn.
Okay. So they just like extend their hand and more of this weird purpley starry stuff surrounds the shadow and just a part of the shadow gets broken off and just absorbed into Sable's magic because it powers my magic because I get MP back from this.
Ooh.
Amazing. Drain that magic out, and with that, also the shade looks at you, seeing the magical energy being transferred to you, and they just howl, "No, that is mine!" and rush over towards Sable for another swing with these dark clawed hands. That is a 9 against physical. I think that does hit.
Yup.
So
I'm going to use divination to attempt to get him to roll lower. I don't know if it'll work.
And that's
we'll
your
try.
second use of that's your second use of
That's
divination.
the second
so...
use of divination, so it's out after this. Yeah.
Oh, it actually did have. There was a
It
1
works!
and a 2. So that hit is not going through. We're moving over to the alternate
As
timeline.
it rushes over to Sable, the last of that starry energy just pushes it backwards.
Amazing.
This is why I said do buff yourself. This is why I said buff yourself.
Anger is spelled over the shadowy face of the creature. As we go back in initiative to the party, there's still either Vivi or Lian going up.
Ian, why don't you take it?
Do you have anything for the +4? Because all I'm doing is just
You're gonna hit for a lot more than I am. I think.
All right. Yep.
I have other duty that I have to take care of.
Okay. I will, as it circles around and attack Sable, Yao is gonna circle around from the back and start lacerating his shadowy back. Oh no, that's a 5 and a 1, 6 plus 4, 10. But can I? Since this entity before me is a threat to the world, can I spend a Fabula point to re-roll my 1?
You don't even have to, because
of
thanks
drop
to
dexterity.
thanks to the drop dexterity.
Armor.
Exactly. Thanks to the drop dexterity.
The other reason I did it.
By Vivi, you just hit with a total of 10. So you don't even have to reroll.
No, I was hoping to roll a higher number so I can do more damage.
Oh yeah, that's still possible. You can still do that. You can
still do it for the higher damage.
Okay, because this is a 1
It's also
dice
another
anyway.
Fabula point being spent, which means more XP
yes.
potentially.
Exactly.
Oh, I rolled a 10. I rolled a 10 on that reroll.
Yes.
Let's go.
All right, so 10. So I did 16 damage on the second attack, 10 plus 6. I don't know if I add the +4 to it, but 16
No,
damage.
just-
I think it's just
Just-
to the accuracy check.
Just
Yeah.
to the actual roll, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So 16.
And just keep on shredding apart the shade with the righteous anger of a protector of the world.
Mm.
And that leaves only Vivi for this round of initiative.
Vivi is going to. I want to get rid of this thing, but based off of what they just said, I have to make sure Sable doesn't get hurt. I'm going to spend my turn to use guard, and I'm going to cover Sable, so it cannot perform a melee attack against them.
Oh, okay. Taking up a protective position, we end round
We don't have
two.
Luara. I'm the next person who can take the most hits, I think, because Leon's health is split between the two of them.
Taking up this protective position, we wrap up round 2. At the start of round 3, another lock on the door, a lock without a keyhole, starts sliding off of its position. And even before it can hit the ground, it's already dissolving in the air, showering everyone in a shower of rust and dust. Also, even with the sound of the fighting, the claws being thrown around, the magic being wielded, you all hear in the distance, from the direction that you came towards here, there's this sound of approaching footsteps. You can only hear them so far, echoing down the hallway, but not see them. As we're at the top of round 3, and 2 of the player characters would like to do the honors for the first turn.
All right. Sable, you want to do anything or?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Someone else go first.
Because my playstyle with Lian is very basic. I attack. so if
And
you,
I need to save my turn to be after yours to make sure you're protected.
all right.
The guard only lasts until the start of my next turn.
Oh, okay. So I will go first then. I will continue
again.
lacerating. I shall continue lacerating this
Swing away.
Oh my god, that is a critical fail. I will spend 1 Fabula Ultima point and channel my Protector of the Wilds and roll my dice again. Oh, it's a 4 now, but it's not a crit.
But what's the total?
Oh, 4.
Oh, no, that does not. That
We are
does not.
so scared of crit fails right now.
No, we
So
can't afford it.
And the shadow is just in that point ignoring what Yao is trying to do, just these claws on him, but sees that Vivi is blocking up Sable, but is still trying to go and attack Sable, which means that Vivi can can go and protect.
Yep.
Which means what I'm rolling now is not against Sable, but even though I'm targeting Sable, it is going to go against Vivi. Let's do that. Oh, I have to lower that down to a 1d10. An 8 does not hit you, I'm pretty sure.
Nope. I have improved armor. Now,
Exactly.
I have a shield. It tries to claw out at me, and I just like bash it away with the arm shield. I'm like, no.
It's actually... Dude, that still happens what you describe, but I'm going to spend an Ultima point to have it reroll 1 die.
Oh.
So I'm going to reroll the d10. Turning that into a 9. Does a 13 hit you?
13 does hit me.
Yeah, the shield bank comes in, but the shadow like weaves itself around you and then strikes you from this impossible angle for 14 points of physical damage.
7, because I'm resistant to damage while I'm guarding to protect someone, so only 7.
Only 7. Perfect. As that hit is kind of lower than expected, and the shade removes itself and giving one of the other player characters a chance at the initiative again.
I guess it's me then. Let's see. Mm-hmm. That doesn't do anything. Yeah, I guess it's iceberg time.
Iceberg!
I was hoping to get through it without spending a shit ton of MP, but oh well. Oh, that is that does not hit. That is a 6.
6.
But I will spend a Fabula Ultima point to re-roll the 2.
We're up to 5 Fabula points that have already been spent in this session.
That's better. That's an 11.
It's an 11, and that does hit.
All right, so more of their dark magic forms under the shadow's feet and just encases it in ice momentarily. As it takes 32 ice damage, which ignores resistances if it happens to have any.
Not for this, and it just blasts with the icy magic, parts of the shadow being torn even more. There's just it almost looks like this shadowy form is now a ragged piece of cloth fraying at the edges, its essence slowly just dissolving into nothingness, holding on to existence. And you hear it say, "No, just a little longer. But it's unable to act now because it doesn't have any actions anymore at this point. And I think it's only Vivi who's left in this round.
So I started blasting. God, I don't want Sable to get hurt more, but we need to kill this thing. I love you, Han. I'm going to roll to attack it.
See how that goes. Channeling big blasting energy. Well, that certainly goes very well because that is a 12 and that hits.
Okay.
And that is
a total of 15 for the first hit. It's still up.
Still up. But literally fraying at the edges.
Fuck you. I'm spending another 10 to fire another shot. Because I have Barrage, which lets me do that.
Let's
Gonna
go.
pick this up, please.
That's a crit.
That's a crit.
Ooh.
So that is another 15 points of damage. Is it still up by any chance?
How do you want to do this?
All right, yes. Just fires one shot, and I assume there's some level of like panic happening in the shadow. She reaches over to some of like the shadow that's pulling off of Sable, takes it into herself, and it goes from like the blue and the starry sort of black coloration to an arrow of pure white light that fires, and just it's like a starburst effect. It's just light within shadow and just bursts all of it away.
And the light completely removes the shadow, blasting it away. You just hear this long, drawn-out scream as the shade of Solinus is dispersed just into fragments of ether. And you can see hiding somewhere in the corner just this little form of Basil the guinea pig person who has been following you, but keeping safe, keeping well and safe in distance, witnessing you now destroy this creature. But you also see... Oh, but before I get to that, what would you want to say, Fifi?
Because that was a crit. I still get an opportunity.
You do get an opportunity. What you want to do with that?
I want plot twist.
And what's the plot twist?
What was the name of the individual who was working inside?
Procopius.
I want Procopius to have taken a moment to hesitate and be like, what is taking so long? And stopped working on whatever they're doing inside. It says someone or something of your choice appears on the scene. I want them to pop up right now. They're like, what? Why haven't you killed them? Kind of moment. And just basically be like, hello.
This is so juicy. Give me a moment.
So I chose it.
The shade of sullenness is dispersed. All of you were focusing on the heat of the fight. And as the shade dissolves, there's one last sound of another log falling to the ground. But you also notice that there's this rush of air behind you, of wind. And as you turn around, you see that the steel door behind you has flung open. Light coming out of it, just flooding the room, just like that bolt of light that Vivi fired into the shadow flooded the shadow. Distant choirs seem to come out of the open door. And standing in the light is a white-clothed figure. The same one that you saw in the Murklight swamp. The same white-clothed figure with this set of lenses on his forehead, moving around, clicking, trying to find the right lens for the right analysis, the right tool to study. But when you last saw this individual, there was a grin on his face. There is now just the mouth in one line. Disappointment? Maybe. They're looking at all of you, saying, should have known that Solinus could have not dealt with you. So you have also made it. You have found the Chronopontorium. What is it you want with it?
I'm going to, as he's saying that, Yao is just gonna grab his spear and just chuck it in his face.
Pick up your spear. And as you throw that spear, it flies into the room behind Procopius, into the light. And Procopius looks at you. Maybe you should be better than my colleague Solinus and first extract more information before you continue in physical violence. And maybe you should also include everyone in this room in the conversation. And all of you gain 2 Fabula points as 2 villains enter the scene.
2?
You've heard footsteps earlier in the fight coming down from the hallway. And now they echo in the room. And the figures step into the light cast from the door that just opened. The first figure you see is a female-looking person. Tall, blonde hair with white streaks in it. Her white clothing is elegant. Little details worn into it. Accents of gold and silver on the white. Her blonde hair with white streaks is kept neatly, part of it tied on the back of her head. She just says, I did not plan to be on the Sojourner this early in our plans, but it seems we have the individuals here who we have to thank for this hastening of our agenda. She steps closer, looking at all of you. She's not alone, though. Second person steps in. Garments for travel, leather, furs, but also magical technological tools. Tool set not unlike that which Vivi is wearing. And Vivi, you immediately recognize this man. It is your father, Emanuele. Standing here in the light cast from this door, he looks first at the duo of Leon, an analyzing look, and then a sense of understanding what he's looking at. He looks at Enluara, quickly nods his head. He looks over at Sable, and then finally realizes that Vivi is here. And shock appears on his face. His lower lip trembles. There's a hint of tears in the corner of his eyes. He steps closer towards Vivi, slowly and carefully. How do you respond, Vivi?
Raise the arm crossbow. Hi, Dad.
I should have known that of all the people who can get caught up in this, it would be you, my little Vivi. If you know what this looks like, I don't know what you know, but give me a chance to explain.
Vivi's keeping, she's keeping very close to Sable, and I think, I don't think she's realized it, but if Sable lets her, she's like holding on to Sable's hand tightly. One chance. Tell me why now.
Emanuele is about to start speaking as you hear the footsteps of the woman approaching. She also steps closer to you and especially to Sable. And she's looking at Emanuele, who is hesitant to go talking with her next to him. But the woman speaks and says, Procopius sent us some information on you, she says, looking at Sable. Such impressive work of the Corpheons. What do you remember? Do you know what you are?
Why would I tell you anything? You first.
We gave birth to a moon. We unlocked the secrets of our stars. The knowledge of why magic is so strong here on Thea and weaker out on the moons. It's the well springs. The Eidolons, they are locked in there. Banished by your people. They have been giving us some of their magic. Some of it's protecting us. But there's so much more to get from them. So much more that we could learn. Isn't that right, Emanuele? And Emanuele goes, and he leans a bit towards Vivi. I have traveled so much around Thea. I've seen so many things, and I've come to understand something. The Eidolons, they are a threat. The Wellsprings protect us now, and they give us the powers and the magic, but we cannot have them remain forever. One day the prisons will break. And I think we have a way of making sure that we at least can control what's happening when they break. Procopius, and he points over to Procopius in the opening of the door. Procopius knows that the Sojourner has ways of, if necessary, destroy the Eidolons. We can release one of them from a wellspring and use the Sojourner's powers to destroy it. If my calculations are correct, the magic of the Eidolon will flow through Thea, flow through the stars. And we will not live on a world surrounded by prisons of dangerous primordial beings.
And so you think it's worth the risk? Toying with powers beyond your comprehension?
Emanuele is about to say something about it, but then the woman interrupts him and goes, "We've learned many things from Thule. When the moon was destroyed, we've looked into the secrets of the Corpheons. We thought none of them were left. We've harnessed their magic, learned their secrets. But this will be even a lot more easier if an actual Corpheon is with us." And she looks over at Sable. "Drop that charade, entity. Show us your true form."
Sorry, I'm trying to catch up with the notes.
No worries.
Sorry
no
to
worries.
leave you hanging. I
No
don't mean
worries.
to.
No worries.
Sable looks at her and it's just in all of our party members' heads. It's confusion, fear. What do we do?
Vivi, if you come along with us, we go across the Chrono Pontorium, and I can show you. Emanuele says. And the woman once again says, "Show us your true form, Carpheon." And Emanuele goes and just really in a biting tone turns to her and says, "Belisarius, maybe they don't know how."
Sable doesn't say anything, but the expression on their face makes it pretty obvious Emanuele hit the nail on the head.
Then this woman, Belisarius, steps closer to Sable. Looks down at them. And you can just see, pulling out of her cloak, just this barest glint of the most fine, polished silver. And Belisarius says, "Then we just need to remove the mask." And the last thing we see is a flash of light reflecting on silver being drawn from a sheath and being directed towards Sable's throat. That's where we're going to end today's second to last session to get ready for the finale of this next week.
Ooh.
Well, this is gonna be nice. This is going to be nice, everybody. I like imagining that my throat is going to be the one being cut because I'm jumping in front of Sable. Just get down, Mr. President.
Get down, Carpheon. That's Well, we do have the setup for quite a showdown here. We
Oh,
have the party
God.
here. We have the doors to some bridge of time opened. There are a total of 3 white-clothed figures here. And one of them is the father of one of the player characters.
Ex-father, soon to be.
Patricide.
Patricide.
We are moving towards a showdown here for next week with one more session left. I am so excited to see where this goes. There were some amazing rolls here today, some amazing actions, choices in ways of getting information. I'm really excited to see where this is going. With that being said, before we take a well-deserved breather and save our game for now, let's go around the table to remind everyone who has been playing today, where we can find everyone, and what you're up to. And I'm just going to start in the same order as we did at the start again, starting out with Nev.
Hi, everybody. I'm Nev. I'm your friendly neighborhood squid person. I am looking forward, ? To Sable getting beheaded by accident. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I am a TTRPG performer, producer. I am on many different TTRPG channels. This one, Girls Run These Worlds, Roll for Good. Upcoming in March on this channel, Horde of Tales, we have the Women in Games month, which I will be producing for. Hopefully we're going to get a bunch of really good games in that. And I have been playing Sable, who is... Something's gonna happen next week. We'll find out what.
We're definitely going to find out what. Thank you for playing once again, Nev. Nick Key.
Hello there, I'm Nick, and I have been playing Leanne, our duo of Fox and Boy, who might also potentially commit sororicide next session, depending on whether my twins show up. So we will see about that. And And I do have one show that I might be appearing in February, but don't have a lot of information yet. Maybe next week I'll have something to say about it. But look, that one, it's a 2-player TTRPG game that I am kind of looking forward to. So we'll see how it goes.
Curious to hear more about that hopefully next week. Thank you. Angela.
Insert Geralt. Fuck. Right here as my is my summary for how I feel about this session. Hello there, folks. My name is Angela Lemos Mogrovejo. I use she, her pronouns, and you can catch me here on Mondays for our Thirsty Sword Lesbians campaign, which has just had. We have a lesbian ship that has been confirmed, people. I repeat, we have a ship that has sailed. I don't care how long it sails for. I'm fine if it crashes in a session or two, but we have one confirmation. We have no queer baiting on that show. There's just queer thirst and love and everything. So that's where you can find me. Oh, and here next week where I'm gonna lose my shit in some capacity, but I'm gonna shoot a lot of arrows before that happens. So should be fine.
Thank you for being here. My name's Marcus. I've had the honor to once again run as a GM for this game here again and to bring these people into these beautiful situations that they find them in, and always grateful for providing me with the means of getting you into these situations. I'm also part of the Horde of Tales team here, and as already mentioned, next week on Monday, we continue our Thirsty Sword Lesbians campaign, this Severed City, run by Angela. And as Neff also mentioned, we are preparing for our Women in Gaming Month in March. So definitely keep an eye on our socials for information on what's coming up there with games, interviews, and all the likes. You can follow us on our socials, which you will find below. You can find us on Twitter, Blue Sky, Instagram, and you can also find all the VODs of everything that we do on this channel, not just this game, but all the other cool stuff that we have on this channel over on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/Horde of Tales. And if you want to come out on our server and tell us how you feel about our games, or just chat with us and wish all of these players well for the final session next week, you can also jump on a Discord, where you also find a link below to join us there. Once again, thanks to everyone for coming to watch this, for all the players at the table, and also for producer Caro in the background. And we are going to wrap this up for today and get ready for the big finale next week, Tuesday, same time, same place, Horde of Tales. Take care, stay safe. See you next time.